Every time your foot hits the ground, you are testing a highly evolved biological shock absorber. It uses an intricate network of bones, tendons, and ligaments working together to catch your weight and spring you forward. When you run, the dynamic ground reaction forces acting on your forefoot hit roughly 2.5 times your total body weight. Take an elite ballet dancer and point. The loading pattern becomes even more extreme, concentrating 3 times their body weight directly onto the small structures of the toes. This mechanical system relies on every joint extending forward to distribute that weight evenly. But if a single hinge in the toe buckles upward into a permanent flex, it creates a structural glitch known as hammertoe. Before we examine how to fix this, please remember that this video is for educational purposes only. Always consult a medical professional before attempting to diagnose or treat any health condition. Left untreated, this localized bend forces the surrounding tendons to tighten, initiating a progressive structural failure that can eventually freeze the foot's foundation. The collapse happens at a specific location, the proximal interphalangeal joint, or PIP joint, located in the middle of your second, third, or fourth toe. Instead of extending flat, the bones at this joint pull into a sharp upward peak. In the early stages, the deformity is entirely flexible. You can take your hand, gently push the toe down, and it will still lie flat against the floor. Over time, the muscles and tendons caught in that contracted position begin to shrink and tighten. Eventually, the joint freezes. The toe becomes completely rigid and can no longer be straightened manually. Allowing that small joint to permanently lock out of alignment removes the structural support necessary for explosive athletic movement. To understand why the PIP joint buckles, we have to look at the tension wires controlling it. Hammertoe is caused by a mechanical tug-of-war. The longer, stronger muscles extending from your leg overpower the smaller, weaker intrinsic muscles located entirely inside your foot. You might be born with a structural disadvantage, inherited traits like flat feet, unusually high arches, or a Morton's toe, where the second toe is noticeably longer than the big toe, naturally throw these opposing muscle groups out of balance. Then we add environmental stress. Wearing high heels or shoes with narrow toe boxes physically crams the digits into a tight upward curl for hours at a time. Other variables accelerate the damage. A fractured toe, rheumatoid arthritis swelling the joint capsules, or nerve damage from diabetes can all sever the precise neuromuscular communication required to keep those toes straight. By combining restrictive footwear with inherited structural quirks and thousands of daily steps, the delicate pulley system of the foot snaps under the pressure. This mechanical failure creates severe problems during locomotion, specifically during the toe-off phase. This is the critical millisecond where your heel lifts and you push firmly into the ground to propel your body forward. For maximum efficiency, your toes need to lay completely flat. This creates a wide, stable base that grips the surface and releases stored elastic energy. With a hammer toe, that wide base disappears. Because the middle joint is curled upward, the toe cannot press flat against the ground, drastically reducing the surface area available for weight-bearing and push-off. Your nervous system senses this instability and attempts to compensate using a gripping strategy. The muscles forcibly clench the toes downward inside your shoe, trying to find purchase, which only pulls the joints into an even tighter curl. This chronic clenching drives the metatarsal bones, at the base of the toes, heavily downward. That pressure physically pushes your foot's built-in shock absorber, the plantar fat pad, out of its protective anatomical position. Without that padding, you're effectively hammering exposed bone and nerves directly into the pavement. Kinetic energy bleeds away, and every step triggers sharp, localized pain. Rebuilding this foundation requires identifying exactly how far the condition has progressed. The treatment path splits entirely based on whether the toe is still flexible or rigidly locked. If the joint still bends, the focus is on relieving pressure. That means switching to shoes with wide toe boxes, utilizing custom orthotics to correct your arch, and applying silicone pads to prevent painful corns from forming on the skin. You also have to actively retrain the weak intrinsic muscles. Physical therapists use specific isolation movements, like laying a towel on the floor and scrunching it toward you with your toes, picking up marbles, or performing controlled arch raises. However, if the tendons have permanently contracted and the joint is rigid, stretching won't work. At this stage, podiatric surgery is often the only way to realign the bone structure. For moderate cases, surgeons perform tendinomies to release tight tendons, or they execute tendon transfers, literally rerouting a tendon from the bottom of the toe to the top to pull the digit flat. For severe arthritic deformities, the solution is Arthrodesis. The surgeon removes the damaged cartilage entirely and fuses the two bones together using small pins or screws, permanently locking the toe into a straight position. Whether you rely on targeted physical therapy or surgical hardware, the objective is exactly the same: restoring the flat, stable geometry required for pain-free motion. Your body operates as an interconnected kinetic chain. A structural failure at the very bottom will inevitably radiate upward, compromising your ankles, knees, and hips. If you found this breakdown helpful, drop a like on the video, share it with a runner or athlete in your life, and subscribe to the channel for more deep dives into human biomechanics. Protect the intricate machinery of your feet, and they will support you through every mile, pivot, and finish line.